Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about Hansi Flick's attacking plan for the next season. There's been so many questions about what Hansi Flick and Deco want to do, what they want their attack to look like, and especially knowing that Deco and Hansi Flick do want to bring in Luis Díaz in. Many have questioned what is going to be Luis Díaz's main position, what is going to be Hansi Flick's plan on how he's going to use the player, where is Raphinha going to play, is Diaz going to be coming in to play as a number 9 and switch with Lewandowski, right? There has been a lot of questions, but we do have an official source, right, coming from Joaquim Beira, who is very close to all South American players and especially FC Barcelona players. And this is the exact same guy that broke out the news of Luis Díaz being wanted by Deco and Hansi Flick. He stated this, right? Hansi Flick has decided that next year Raphinha will act as a number 10. His idea is to have Lewandowski as a number 9, Lamine Yamal on the right wing position, Raphinha as the number 10 position, right? And then we have, if signed, Luis Díaz on the left wing position. So huge news, because now knowing that this is going to be Hansi Flick's plan and what he wants his attack to look like, I want to talk about this and I want to speak about why this does make a lot of sense and why this may cover one of the weaknesses that was shown through the attack in the past 9 to 10 months. So first things first, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Raphinha as a central attacking midfielder, does that make sense? And what does that mean for players like Dani Olmo and Fermin Lopez, which we will be talking about in a few minutes? But the fact that Raphinha is going to go back into the number 10 position, it's nothing new, right? Because if we look at the history of Raphinha as a number 10 over the past 3 years since he did join FC Barcelona, he played in 6 total games as a number 10. He scored 1 goal and provided 7 assists, with his average match rating at 8.2. So every time he played as a number 10, he was very efficient and his performance was really good. So it's nothing new to him. He was averaging at the very least 1 goal per 90 minutes as a number 10. So he's highly productive in limited minutes. And if we break it down into the past 3 seasons that he has been in with FC Barcelona, back in the 2022-2023 season, he made no appearances as a central attacking midfielder. He was primarily used as a winger under Xavi Hernandez. So sometimes on the right wing position, sometimes on the left wing position. But then came the 2023-2024 season where Xavi Hernandez did lose players like Dembele and other players, and he was very limited in the amount of choices that he could make in this season. And that is the reason why Raphinha sometimes did play as a number 10. It was short appearances. It was only 2 appearances with him playing between the lines of the wingers, and he played against Sevilla and Alavés as a number 10 once again. But then came the 2024-2025 season where Hansi Flick finally came in and he used Raphinha multiple times as a number 10 between especially August through October 2024, so in the beginning of the season. And the reason why Hansi Flick used Raphinha as a number 10 more than ever, and especially compared to Xavi Hernandez, it was mainly because of the injuries. Dani Olmo was, he could not be registered in time sometimes. He was also injured sometimes. We also saw Frankie de Jong injured and out the way. Frankie did sometimes play as a 10, and Hansi Flick wanted to use Frankie as a 10, especially in the first 5 to 6 months of the season. But because he was out, and also with Pedri coming out, it all led towards Raphinha sometimes looking at the number 10 position. And this was him operating under a 4-2-3-1 system, and so behind Lewandowski. So to look back on it, right, and back on September 29th, 2023 against Sevilla, he did play as number 10, no goals, no assists, and it was only 37 minutes. On November 12th, 2023 against Alavés, no goals, no assist, and only 27 minutes. And then fast forward to August 17th, 2024, in one of the first few matches under Hansi Flick against Valencia, he provided 1 assist as a number 10 and played a full 90 minutes. And then against Athletic Bilbao on August 24th, 7 days later, no goals, no assist, but he had a 8.1 match rating, which was really good. He was very, I would just say, in the mix within the attack, never just out of the rhythm, which is really good. And then on August 27th against Rayo Vallecano, 1 assist, really good. And then October 1st, 2024 against Young Boys in the Champions League, it was a key game for him. He played as a number 10 and scored 1 goal and provided 1 assist. He was really on a roll. This was around the time where we started to see the prime Raphinha, the Raphinha that we know today. 5 days later, on October 6th against Alavés, he provided 2 assists, which was in La Liga, and had a very high impact game, which was once again really, really good. 2 assists as a number 10 against Alavés, bro. Alavés is a team that, you know, they defend very deep, and the fact that he provided 2 assists, it shows that he can operate in very tight spaces. And then against Sevilla, where it was also a game where Sevilla were sitting back and they tried to go on the counter, he also provided 2 assists on October 20th, and it was a very strong showing for Raphinha. This was like the beginning of something special for the Brazilian player. So I'm happy to see that. You know, we can rely Raphinha to play as a number 10. He's efficient, and the fact that, you know, recently he just renewed with FC Barcelona until 2028. It's huge news because we want to maintain a player who loves this badge, who fights for this badge, who goes on the pitch and gives 110%, and somebody who is very versatile and does not complain about playing as a right winger or a number 10 or a left winger. We need players like that. This guy is a leader. This guy has shown maturity. This guy has grown at a team like FC Barcelona, and the fact that Hansi Flick now wants to use him as a 10 and no longer as a left winger, if Luis Díaz is signed, it could greatly work because Raphinha has shown perseverance. Now, outside of the goals and the assists and how efficient he has been, I believe that he has great ball retention and great ball progression as a number 10. Consistently strong, helping advance the ball vertically. Point number 2, he has shown tactical discipline. The fact that he has excelled in different positions, the amount of pressing that he shows in all different positions, and the fact that he can link with Lewandowski, we need Raphinha at 100%, and putting him in the number 10 position is for sure going to bring him that. And the defensive contributions that he brings in terms of providing pressing from the front and tracking back effectively, which is what we saw with Dani Olmo, but with Raphinha it's a whole other different monster. He can bring in the effectiveness when tracking back alongside with Luis Díaz and Lamine Yamal, leaving Lewandowski as basically giving him the only role, which is to score goals and to sit inside the box. It's really going to help Lewandowski and complement him because he's 37 years old. It's not like we're asking Lewandowski at the age of 30 to press more or something like that. Like at some point and at some age, you're going to have to really realize that Lewandowski cannot give no more in terms of like the defensive presence. And I believe that Luis Díaz, Raphinha, and Yamal being behind him is going to complement that. His lack of defensive discipline, which is not his fault. Like I've said, he's 37 years old. He's going to be at that age. So all in all, I'm happy to see that, you know, having a proposed front four from Hansi that includes Luis Díaz, Raphinha, Yamal, and Lewandowski, hypothetically speaking, it can bring a lot. And let's talk about that, right? Let's go even deeper. Let's go outside of Raphinha as a central attacking midfielder and just speak about what this could hypothetically look like, right? How would this function? So let's talk about that. Let's talk about Lewandowski first. Central striker, he'll be the target man. He'll be finishing off the moves. He'll be holding up play. Good. Raphinha, he'll be given the role of the creator between the lines. He'll be acting as the player who gives the main vertical passes, pressing the opposition, which is mainly the number 6 of any opposition. So let's just say, for example, Arsenal. We face Arsenal in a hypothetical match in the Champions League. Raphinha will be in charge to press a player like Declan Rice, or let's just say Zubimendi, because Zubimendi is going to Arsenal. That is going to be his role. And then we have Yamal and Diaz, who is going to be providing the width, right? Yamal is very comfortable providing the width right now, but with Raphinha is very different. Raphinha likes to be more inside. He enjoys playing more inside, hence the reason why he wants to give Raphinha the full capacity to play as a number 10, because he can give the key passes. He can find those one-touch passes and stuff like that. So Yamal and Diaz would provide the width comfortably, and the pace, the pressing, the direct threat on both wings, it's going to be amazing. In terms of the tactical strengths of the front four that we're talking about here, the pressing power is going to be insane. All 4 players can press high, aligning with Flick's high line philosophy. His verticality as well. Raphinha can feed the wingers. And striker in with Lewandowski, right, in the quick transitions. The wide overloads is going to be insane with Yamal and Diaz stretching the field, and the fullbacks are gonna have a tough time. And with the fullbacks of ours like Jules Koundé and Alejandro Balde joining Yamal and Diaz, they're gonna enjoy going up and creating those 2v1 situations. And I think that is also going to complement Raphinha, in case anybody here is a little afraid of seeing Raphinha operate as a 10 and not having a lot of space, because if Yamal and Diaz are going to be stretching the field and most importantly stretching the defense of the opposition, it's going to give more space for Raphinha to operate in the central zones and finding those goal scoring opportunities. Because if there's one thing that we cannot rule out from Raphinha, is that he can shoot from outside the box easily. He has a strong left foot and a strong right foot, so if you give him space through Yamal and Diaz stretching the defense, it'll give a lot. And then obviously you have the positional rotation. You can have Raphinha maybe confuse the opposition by going into the left, Diaz going into the number 10 position, Raphinha going into the right wing position, Yamal going as a 10. You confuse the opposition. It's a very fluid, dynamic group of players that we will be having. And the counterattacks will be very explosive. Winning the ball high up, it will perfect Flick's transition. Now, I think that, you know, like, let me really think about this, right? Because I honestly do not want to sugarcoat this. I always try to look for the weaknesses, and I always try to see, okay, what could be the potential weak spots of having these group of players play together? And I would say that maybe, right, maybe Raphinha operating in tight spaces and let's just say teams like Inter Milan refusing to give Raphinha some spaces, it could really limit Raphinha, and he may struggle against low blocks where space is very limited, right? It could happen. There is a possibility, but I think that there's always different scenarios for different players. For example, if we face Inter Milan and they say, we're not going to be moving, we want to keep it very tight in the middle, I don't care what happens to Luis Díaz or Yamal, they can do whatever they want, but we will stay here. Okay, fine. This could be a game for Dani Olmo, right? So that is where Dani Olmo and Fermin Lopez can come in. Many are going to be questioning, oh, if Raphinha plays as a number 10, what does that say for Olmo and Fermin? How can they be benched all the time? First of all, before I even talk about like what games should be given to like what players, bro, I am not comfortable with seeing Raphinha play another 55 games next season. I'm not. I need to see more rotation, right? I think that it is good to have great quality depth like what we have talked about in the past 9 months. We need that. I like the fact that I can say if Raphinha sits down for whatever reason, Dani Olmo can come in. If Luis Díaz sits down for whatever reason, Dani Olmo can go on the left and Fermin Lopez can go in the number 10 position. It's not a problem. It's okay. We need that type of quality depth. It's too many games. I do not want to see Raphinha repeat the exact same season that he did last season in terms of appearances. No way. Have we not learned what happened with Pedri? Pedri played 71 games in a span of 12 months, and then we decided to use him in the next season, which was a 2020-2021 season or something like that, going into 2021. We used him and then he got injured for like 4 or 5 months and he never stopped getting injured from there. Have we not learned from that? So the same thing has to be said with Raphinha, the same thing with Lamine Yamal, right? We cannot have Yamal play another 55 plus games next season. There's no way. There has to be rotation. So don't even worry about Raphinha going into the number 10 position and maybe limiting the minutes of Olmo and Fermin. They're all going to play. I think that it would be safe for Raphinha to take 60% of the minutes next season, with 20 given to Olmo and 20 given to Fermin. No problem. As a matter of fact, Olmo, if given more than 45% of the minutes, he might get injured because we all know that he's injury prone. So man management is going to be very important, right? So that is how it is. Give 60% of the minutes to Raphinha and the other 20 to Olmo, the other 20 to Fermin, and we'll be fine. And those other 20% given to Olmo and Fermin, they can be given to matches of, like, let's just say Inter Milan, where it's going to be very congested, or against Atletico Madrid, where it's also going to be very congested. It's fine. With Fermin Lopez, maybe if we play against Manchester City, where it's going to be very open, but let's just say Raphinha is injured, or for whatever reason, Fermin Lopez can't come in. It's not a problem. Depth, I understand. I understand that there's going to be depth concerns because you guys are going to be looking at the players and saying, oh my God, like, what about this player? How is he going to get minutes? There will be minutes for everybody. Depth quality is so important, my friends. And I think that there's not a problem here. Now, Diaz's adaptation, who knows? Maybe he comes to FC Barcelona and he's like, I'm confused. I don't know when to run. I don't know when to press. I don't know how to play with players like Raphinha and Alejandro Balde. Who knows? That could always happen, but I don't think so. I don't think Diaz is that type of player at the age of 28 years old struggling to adapt at a team like FC Barcelona. There's no way. I think that if Diaz accepts a move to FC Barcelona, okay, he would know beforehand how difficult it would be. I think that he would have to have a lot of clarity and simplicity on knowing his role before joining in. And I believe that is where Hansi Flick has to take that responsibility and say, hey, look, this is my clear plan. This is what I want for you to do. This is the role that you're going to be given. This is going to be the players that you're going to be surrounded with. Are you okay with that? Does this make sense to you? And I believe that if Flick can have a good job on that and give Diaz that type of clarity, everything will be okay. Now, obviously, in order for us to be very dangerous in the attack and really play that a high risk, high reward that's going to be beautifully implemented by Diaz and Raphinha and Yamal and Lewandowski, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be explosive and dangerous. Obviously, we're going to have to implement the high line. And when we continue to implement the high line, we always set ourselves up for that potential weakness behind the defensive line, where they can exploit the spaces like how Mbappe did in the 2025 Supercopa. There's always that potential weakness. But, you know, I think that if we continue with that high line, right, and we just say, you know, screw it, we're not going to fix nothing, which I think that Hansi Flick will. But if he says, screw it, we're not going to fix nothing, don't care, we want to score more goals, we want to score 6 goals per match, whatever, I think that what's key is we need to find the correct center backs to complement this high defensive line. And I think that the next player Barcelona should go for after Luis Díaz would be Jonathan Tah, who can really improve our high defensive line in case we ever do make mistakes, because this is a player who is great at aerial duels, who is great at understanding Hansi Flick, because he has played under Hansi Flick before, somebody who has a lot of pace, somebody who has power. And so if we're not going to make any changes systematically in our high defensive line, Jonathan Tah would really complement our high risk, high reward type of football. And so why would Hansi Flick believe in this setup? Obviously, Lewandowski would be the finisher, Raphinha will be the key passer, the pressing, the goals, Yamal the creativity plus the dribbling, Luis Díaz providing the pace, the pressing, the vertical runs. It's going to be amazing, bro, and I can see the vision. So final takeaways. Raphinha, as a central attacking midfielder, is statistically efficient. He has scored 1 goal and provided 7 assists in 6 matches, proving that he thrives in central areas for sure. Hence the reason why he wants to shift him centrally more, with Luis Díaz going on the left. His role under Flick has been pivotal in transitioning Barca into a high energy vertical side. If Barcelona signs Luis Díaz and Raphinha continues in the number 10 role, this front four could be one of the most, if not the most dynamic in Europe, and potentially, as like I've always said, with Champions League vulnerabilities, but we'll see how we move from there. So let me know in the comment sections down below, do you see this attacking plan as ideal, right? Do you want to see an attacking formation like this 4-2-3-1 system, high risk, high reward, with Luis Díaz, Raphinha, Yamal and Lewandowski bossing that final third area? Let me know in the comment sections down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.